AromaticChat, the podcast that introduces you to registered, clinical, and certified aromatherapists around the world. Every other week, my Mima sits down with a different aromatherapist to learn about their aromatic journey and how they use the plants that God has given us in their lives and their businesses. Aromatic Chat is produced by Lemon Balm Coaching, and your host is my Mima, Melissa. She is a master transformational coach and a registered aromatherapist.
Hey friends, welcome to podcast episode number 72, Aromatic Chat with Julia Falkenstein. Julia is a Berlin-based clinical aromatherapist, holistic naturopath, and health consultant. After living and working in intercultural communications in France, Spain, the United States, Canada, and Belgium, she came into aromatherapy in 2012. She was inspired by its deep healing possibilities. We're going to jump right into this interview, so let's get started. Julia, thank you so much for joining me. I'm just so excited that you're here to share your story and everything that you're doing in the aromatic world. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Melissa, so much for for having me here. I'm very excited to join your podcast and finally see you, because what the others don't know is that I actually see you and have you here in person. And knowing you're on the other side of this beautiful planet and we're talking to each other. Very excited to be here. Thank you.
It's so amazing. And that was one of the great things that came out of COVID is everybody now understands how to communicate through Zoom or other video platforms. It's very exciting. I love being able to see the aromatherapist that I'm talking to. It always makes me very happy.
Yeah, super nice. Yeah, so it's true. Through COVID, I had a great push in aromatherapy, because actually I just got started in 2018, and I remember going to the first conference in 2018 on aromatherapy. I'm from Berlin, Germany, and I must say aromatherapy isn't a really big thing here, so not many people know about it. Or what they do know about is that they can get little bottles in department stores and that they can use it at home, but not really as a clinical research, as a clinical thing, to a therapeutical thing to have. So when I came to the aromatic world, it was at Botanica 2018 in Brighton, England. I was totally overwhelmed that so many people would actually think of aromatherapy and treat people with aromatherapy, and how much was actually being possible with these little oils. So that was really exciting. The problem was that in 2019, then everything came to an end, and I couldn't really go on as I thought before. So as you probably as well, I did a lot of online things then and had to figure out how I could get the sense to people, because aromatherapy without the oils isn't really helpful, of course. Right. And it was a big journey, I think, for me, but really nice, because through COVID, I met a lot of other practitioners worldwide online, and that was really nice for me. I would have never probably have had this opportunity if COVID didn't happen.
I know it, and then I'm a silver lining kind of person. So being able to see that because of this, worldwide pandemic, this is possible now, and you're able to reach people around the world on Instagram and Facebook and all of the things that you're doing. It's so exciting. But I do want to back up a little bit and just ask you to share your aromatic journey. You said in 2018 you came into essential oils and aromatherapy, but what led you there?
Yeah, well, it's a longer journey, of course. As I said, aromatherapy or oils were never really a big thing in my home country. I was thinking a lot about it because I'm trying to find more producers of oils of regional plants, but there's very little. And I think in Germany we were more into drying herbs and more into infusing them maybe, or doing herbal extracts in alcohol and so. But distilling oils wasn't the big thing. And I got in touch with the oils when I was on a vacation in Sweden, actually, with my smaller children. And one of my kids was really sick. She was coughing, the whole day and then the whole night, and we didn't really sleep. And when we go to Sweden, we actually go there every year. It's beautiful. It's very simple. So we have a little house that has no electricity. It doesn't have running water. So it's really at the end of the world, and this is beautiful, and the kids love it and we love it. No internet. And we didn't have, of course, I didn't really take much of medicines with me, and the next pharmacy was far away. So I was going around the houses asking if someone would have something like a cough syrup or something. And one of the ladies said, you know what? I don't have medicine, but I have my oils. And I was like, what oils? And she said, well, come in. And she had this huge suitcase, more or less, stuffed with essential oils, maybe 100 or 120. It was the one that I have right now, like a big one. She was an aromatherapist. And she said, yeah, I have my oils, and usually I never take medicine. I only take those. And if you want, we can try something with your kid. And I'm like, yeah, I'm interested. What is it? And what can we do? And she was consulting her big book, what to do, what to give to children. And in the end, she gave her something on honey, like 2 drops or 3 drops of something. And 30 minutes later, my kid wasn't coughing anymore. And I was so impressed that I said, I have to study this. What is it? Why does no one know about it? It's incredible. So this was probably 10 years ago. And I was still in communications and cultural marketing at the time. I worked for a big cultural institution that was working worldwide, a German cultural institute. And by the time I thought, well, I have to study more, I think I was taking the first classes. We were living in Belgium at that time. There, aromatherapy is a big thing. You can find it everywhere. It's really clinical aromatherapy. You find it in the pharmacies. And so I had some first courses there, first classes with some aromatherapists. But I thought it was so, of course, complicated, all the chemical things. And so I really have to study it. And I was thinking, should I still do this in Belgium in French language? Of course, it's a little bit tricky because maybe I don't get all the information, or I don't get all the content because it's not my mother tongue. But I thought, well, I could do it. But by the time we're thinking of going back to Germany, so I was looking for schools in Germany, and I enrolled in one in Germany, and then we moved, and then I was doing my schooling and my diploma and everything in Germany. And I was advancing more and more until finally, I don't know, I think it was in 2018, I started opening up my business in aromatherapy, but I was still working in the company. And every year, at the end of the year, my husband and me were sitting together and talking about the last year and thinking about next year, what's coming up, and what would we like to do, and what are the plans. And I remember that in 2018, no, it wasn't in 2018. It was 1 year later, in 2019. At the end of 2019, we were sitting, and I was saying, I don't really feel like communications and project management and all this. I really would like to do more aromatherapy. And he was saying, you know what, Julia? You said this like for the 4th time in a row now. Can you please do something? Can you then just do aromatherapy? And I was like, ooh, really? So he sort of pushed me into it, or not really, but he really, he said, why don't you do it and stop complaining? And I was a little bit impressed. And of course I wanted to do it. So I said, okay, then I quit my job. So I quit my job first thing in January 2020, not knowing what was to come, that other people would have kept the job because pandemic was hitting in. But I don't regret doing it because it was actually the best decision in my life. Although the 2 years have been much different of what I thought. And of course, much more difficult business-wise, because starting something totally new when everybody thought you were a communications person and you're doing like a corporate thing, and all of a sudden you were doing this aromatherapy wasn't really easy. But for me, it was a pleasant journey. And I started training or studying naturopathic medicine as well at the same time. So I'm a naturopathic doctor. I got my diploma in the beginning of 2020. Because as a corporate person, you can't really do aromatherapy without knowing things that happen in your body, in your mind, and so. And I feel much more secure knowing about it, as of course. Yeah, and that was the journey. So I was really pushed into aromatherapy in 2020, and it's been 2.5 years now, and I'm really happy that I'm there where I am now right now. Yeah.
That's awesome. And it sounds like your husband's a pretty great guy to encourage you to follow your dream that way. I think that's wonderful. That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's really supportive, and I don't know if he thought it would have worked out that way, but yeah, I think you have to take decisions in life, and I think we've always been adventurous in our life together. We've traveled the world together. We've been in different places. We lived in different places for longer years, and we always try to find something new. And I think he's curious like I am, and so he knew how you can become I don't know, maybe depressed or sick or something if you're at the wrong place. So many people stuck with their jobs because they think it pays their bill, and I know how sad they are actually, and frustrated to not change. And this was actually one of the decisions why I thought I would rather do aromatherapy, because I saw how much it helped people. And I was working in this corporate surrounding in a very nice place, because we were doing cultural projects, we were doing linguistic projects, everything that was actually nice. It wasn't a bad environment. We had beautiful extra projects for the employees, and still they were stressed out, and still they were often in tears because they couldn't manage the workload. So I was thinking, how would that be like in an environment that's more stressful, where you really have to have your goals fulfilled, etc. People in the working environment are so stressed and so unhappy. So I was thinking, if I do this project or another person does it, doesn't really make a difference, but I can make a difference if I have one person treated with aromatherapy and he's having a better life. So this is what I wanted.
Are you reaching back to the people that you used to work with? Are you reaching back to corporate America and helping them with your aromatherapy, or did you have a different focus with your business?
Well, my business is on two legs, let's say. So one is this. I'm working in a small clinic where I have patients coming, and they have all different sorts of things they come with. I mean, they're stressed out. In many times they're coming because they can't sleep. They have blood pressure issues, and so stress is really having a big impact. But they come with other things as well, with chronic diseases of the intestines, skin problems, so everything. And the second little leg I'm standing on is the corporate world. So I'm doing trainings for teams, for single persons, mostly in stress, de-stressing, and burnout prophylaxis as well. So it can be workshops, it can be seminars on aromatherapy, it can be training HR people and how to implement aromatherapy and relaxing techniques into the daily work to make to make employees a little bit more happy. Yeah, so this is the second thing I'm doing.
That's great. I love the idea of when we shift, we don't always just leave completely, right? We kind of keep a foot back there and help the people that are behind us. So that's really that's amazing. But you're also working in the clinic, seeing all kinds of different people.
I have some patients with anosmia after COVID. Actually, this is when people come to see me. Usually I ask all my patients how their sense of smell is working and how they feel about it, because as you say, actually it doesn't really have much of an attention, and people say rather, it's normal, or I don't really think it's good. So they don't really trust their noses.
Mm-hmm.
And when I receive a patient, we always go through different scent families, and depending on what he's bringing, what we have to treat. I have an idea of which oils I would like to use. And then, because I can use maybe 5 different ones for the same purpose, we always have a scent a smell trial. So to check for the best he likes. And it's very interesting because you see so much in the people's faces. If they like it, if they're really, if they're thrown into it, they don't like it. There's, the faces say so much, even if they're polite and they say, oh, yes, maybe on a scale from 1 to 5, it's a 2. You really see it's not their thing. And so
Right.
we always try to find something that's very nice for them, and mostly they can't detect it. The nose is not so much trained that they know what it is. So you can really try different ones that are similar, but still a little bit different in the effect. But then I have people that come only for the smell training as well, and they can't smell. They don't have this opportunity, and it's a long process. And mostly they don't come the first day when they detect they can't smell anymore. They come when they already say, okay, I've waited for 3 months now, nothing is working, so what can we do? So the underlying condition is already a little bit depressive, and so we have to work on many different levels to support the person, not only with the smell training, but psychologically as well. And yeah, what we do is I really work with the person on a long scale. So he's usually with me for 3 months, and we have regular training sessions, and they have to do the training at home as well. But they come back and we discuss maybe the progress, if there was a progress, and if not, I can support the person in saying, keep up. You have to be consistent and try on, because it takes a while. It's not something that is on short term, or you can have an effect in 2 weeks or so. It's unfortunately not happening. If it's going better after 3 months, we definitely do longer sessions. We sort of try to find new scents as well. So different receptors are being activated, still something the patient knows. It's a long journey. It's a very individual journey. I think most people think, oh, I read about it. It's always the lemon and the maybe the rosemary and the cedar or something. No, it's not. It can be many different things depending on what the patient actually lived through and sense he knows. He can recognize. He recognizes thinking of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something he has to scent, to smell and know. He has to know the scent. So it can be many different things. It mustn't be the rose. It can be different sorts of flowers, for example.
What was it that inspired you to move in that direction to help people regain their sense of smell?
Actually, it came in the practice. It came in my practice when I had patients. We talked about it. I think the initial idea came when I was doing a workshop in a church. I was doing a workshop on biblical scents in a church, and then one of the people came to me after the session and said, you know what, my son-in-law suffers from smell loss after COVID. Can you do something? And that was, I don't know, I think it was probably in 2020 already. And then I saw, oh yeah, of course. I read so much about it, Professor Hummel in Dresden and all the big shots, I already had so many publications on it and an idea of how it could work. So I was reading a lot. I was trying my first patients, and from that it started. And as I said, it's a long, long journey. So it's a very personal approach, I think, and it's for the practitioner. I think it's something that is it's not something you don't sell this as a product in a very it doesn't you don't have how do you say that it's I think you have to work a lot for it with the patient, and for me, if it works out and the scent comes back, then for me it's the reward. But it's a very long process that where you you have to invest a lot, I think, on both sides, but which is fine.
Yeah, you're investing and the patient is investing. They have to be invested in the process as well.
Yeah. It's not something that you could do like a good selling product and you have a lot of benefits from it as an aromatherapist, because I see, you change a lot, you think a lot, you invest lots of hours in thinking with the patient, without the patient, and try to get the best results. And the nice thing is, I think that you give this psychological support to the person, which after a while they can't find in their families, they can't find in their friends, because everyone's probably, they don't want to talk again about the smell loss, or that people can't taste anything when they're invited for a dinner, etc. So it's a really difficult situation for the people. And my aim is always to make life better with aromatherapy.
That's great. So how has aromatherapy affected you personally and your loved ones? You already shared the story about your daughter and her cough, but how else have you seen aromatherapy work in your life?
Oh, my family is treated from morning to evening with aromatherapy. They were laughing at me about me, they're like, oh, my belly is funny, but do we only have the oils, or can we get something else? And I'm like,
oh no,
it's just the oils. Yeah. We fortunately we don't have severe things in our family. Only like muscle pains and joint pains and headaches and sometimes a bad stomach, and so, but nothing really severe. I have this. I spare this for my clinic, which is fine, I think. But I can see they're really happy about it. On the psychological side, it works really, really well. But sometimes I see with my teenager daughter who's suffering from headaches and migraine. She's like, "Mom, I love you, but can we see a doctor?" And then I'm like, no, but we have to change our nutrition and fatty oils and omega-3 and and the oils, and she's like, Mom, Mom, yes, I know, but still, can we on the side, can we see someone else? But I think in the family, it's a little bit this like this all the time. They trust you, but in the end.
Yes, but there will be a day, I promise you, there will be a day where she's going to come back and go, Mom, tell me about those oils again. They will. They will, I promise.
I know. We had this on many different levels, skin care, for example. I'm always like, yeah, but you have to like do less than the teenagers do. They buy all the products and you're like, And they know when I come into the bathroom, they're like, Mom, don't look at my things. And yeah, I'm looking, because money-wise and health-wise, it's rubbish.
Yeah.
You should trust me. You should do this and this and this. And she's like, but yeah, I think we've all been in this phase of life where we thought marketing was a big thing, and it's a cycle, but they will go back to what I think is right. I'm absolutely with you.
They will.
I have to wait. I have to be patient.
And, when you're in the parenting bubble and you're doing everything that you can for your kids and trying to put them on the right path and everything, it can be so frustrating. But then there comes a day. There comes that day where they look back and they go, Mom, thank you for everything. And can you share your recipe for whatever, whatever it
I
happens to
know,
be?
I know. Yeah, but what I see with children is there's a certain age from, of course, 0 to maybe 10 or so, where they really like to be in your company. They like their foot rub, they like their back rub, etc. But then, it gets a little bit less. And from 12 on to, I mean, I have a 16-year-old. They really they don't want to be so close to mom and dad. They live their own life. So approaching them, giving them a back rub and something, it's not so evident because they don't lie down saying, "Oh yeah, this is what I was looking for. I want to be close to you." They're like, "Hmm. Well, it's okay if it helps, and it has to help immediately because this generation is really clack clack. It should be now. The
Right.
solution is here." And if it's something that you have to do for a month or a cure of 2 weeks or something, then they're like, "Ugh." And if we talk about skin issues, skin is redeveloping in 4 weeks, like 28 days. So it really takes some time to have results. And they don't want to wait that long. So they go to the pharmacy and buy something else that works in a day, and the skin is rubbish, but still something has changed, and this is what they would like to see.
Right.
So I'm really happy that I have my clinic and my patients, and there I have the results that are sometimes immediate. I feel happy, and at the same time I feel like, oh, this is not a good business concept either, because sometimes people come and I treat them. I have some remedy, and they call next day, say, "Oh, I will not do this next appointment because symptoms are gone." I'm like, "Huh, I'm perfect." This is perfect. Yeah. So
I
I think
understand.
I still, you know what I'm talking about.
I do.
Um, and this happened just this week. So, anyways, so I see the results are there, and then I can relax at home saying, okay, my kids don't want that right now, but as you say, they will come back in maybe 3 years, maybe in 10 years, and say, oh, you were always good with herbs. What can I do? What can I
Right.
say? Yeah.
Okay, so I have found aromatherapists to be some of the most interesting people. I love getting to chat with them and hear about their stories and everything, but I'm curious, like, what are your other passions outside of natural health and aromatherapy?
Mm. Well, I think my biggest passion is reading. I love books. Um, and I love to be actually, if my perfect day or my perfect life would be a small house in nature, um, an oven with fireplace, a good book, and a tea. That would be wonderful. A quiet time, cozy, super literature, the whole bookshelf of interesting books, and I would like read the years would pass without noticing.
Yeah.
Lovely. Unfortunately, but not unfortunately. Fortunately, I have 3 kids and a dog and a husband and parents to care for, and a busy life, two jobs.
Mhm.
So this never happens. It's something I'm dreaming about. But my passion is calming down and reading. I
Mhm.
love watching movies as well. Although I haven't been much to the theaters since COVID, this changed a lot, unfortunately. Um, and I like I like going out to eat. I like nice vegetarian dishes, let's say, and try different things. I like to travel, which I haven't been doing for the last years neither so much, a little bit in Europe, but yeah, big travels
What
stuff.
what's your favorite place to travel to?
Well, I've been living in South America, North America, in all over Europe. I think Europe is a wonderful place because you don't have to travel so far. I love the nature of South and North America.
Mm.
Um, because I've seen all of this. I traveled Africa a bit. Beautiful as well. If I would travel again, I think it would be probably to Asia because it's been a while and there are so many places I haven't seen. And because of all the oils coming from there, talking Sri Lanka, talking India, talking Nepal, and I would really love to see the plants being distilled in the place.
Yes.
Um, the Philippines, I don't know. It's so many places. Korea, I have never been to, and I don't know. It's many places
Yeah.
that are worth. Of course, the whole world is worth traveling.
Well, it's so funny
And
because the world has gotten smaller because of Zoom, right? We can talk to people all over the world now, and it just feels like there's no lag. Like you're right there and we're having a conversation, right? So it feels like you're just right here, but the world is still so big and there's so much to see, so much to do.
I know, and we're the same age, and our nephews and nieces, they're all sort of started traveling because they stopped their school, they finished their school, and I feel like, well, where's my backpack? I want to join them again, I want to
Yes.
travel light, no family, just me, my backpack, and super nice adventures ahead of me. That would be so lovely. But no one's taking me. And I, of course, I have to work, and yeah, it's not really possible. But I really feel it would be so nice. Maybe thinking about a sabbatical at some point.
Yes, a sabbatical in the Philippines and just kind of do a
Yeah,
little
a
Pacific
regional.
tour,
Yeah,
Korea,
yeah, I
Japan,
know,
Philippines. That would be
I
lovely.
know. Yeah, or even the whole Pacific islands, or Australia and New Zealand, with all these
Mhm.
new oils coming up from this region. It would be so interesting to see the origin of my favorite oil, tea tree, as well. I
Yes.
started my career with tea tree when I was probably 10 or 12. My mom was a medical doctor who did not believe a word in natural medicine.
Mhm.
Everything would have to come out of the laboratory, of course, but it was a generational thing, I think. Anyways, and I always had angina. No, what do you say? And sore throats,
Mhm.
and bacterial, blah blah blah. And she gave me antibiotics, and then all of a sudden, I don't know. I think I read it that tea tree would be working, so I started taking tea tree orally, a drop a day, or 3 drops every 3 hours or so, and it worked. And of course, it was so funny. I said, Mom, I took tea tree oil. And she was like, "What? I do not believe this." And years later, I took it then secretly, and it really worked out well. And years later, in one of her super medical journals, there was a study on tea tree oil with bacteria. And then she came like, you know what? I'm reading this now. Maybe it works. I said, yeah, look. And then 20 years later, when I discovered aromatherapy for me, I was like, maybe this was the initial point when I started looking for information. I just didn't get the right science left and right, and I started a different career. Maybe I should have listened to my heart earlier. But
Oh, well,
it's
it's none of
it
our
was
paths are straight. No one's path is straight. It's a winding up and down curvy road that gets us to where we are. And neither of us have arrived. We're still going to go other places, you know?
yeah,
So I mean,
it's
like
so developing.
it's going to keep going all the time. So what are you working on right now that's got you really excited? And it doesn't have to be
It
aromatherapy related. It could be anything.
Oh, it is aromatherapy related because I'm absolutely thrilled. I started working in this clinic. I had my own. I had my own practice from 2020 to this year, like actually 3 weeks ago. Um, but it was a practice only for myself, so it was very little interaction. So I started working 1 day a week in this other clinic, which is bigger, with 5 therapists of different. I'm one of 2 aromatherapists, but the other one is not doing aromatherapy anymore. And then all of a sudden in summer they said, we would need you 3 times a week. I said, okay. So I started working there 3 times a week, and then I have one extra day for aromatherapy, so it makes 4 days, and I'm really there all the time now. So I closed my practice, and this new clinic is really interesting because they work so much on the immune system and intestinal health. And I started working on people with chronic gut diseases with aromatherapy, with hydrosols, and as well oral treatments, etc. And this is something very, very thrilling, I think, because we can do so much on the mucosa membranes with the oils. That's really helpful and relieving for the patients. So I'm working on a series of oils for how do you say that, packages that you could put on your belly, like warm.
Like a compress.
Yeah, compresses, oils for massage, oils for Ayurvedic treatments, which are given rectally, in a certain doses. And this is really, really exciting because I was doing some research, and I don't think many people are working in this field yet. So I'm hoping to give relief to a lot of patients. They should all come to Germany, and I will treat them.
Germany seems to be a place where people are going for treatments now. I had a friend who went there for a back surgery recently. So don't laugh. It may happen. People may start coming to you in Germany to relieve their gut issues, because there's so many people now who have major gut issues, digestive problems.
Yeah, we see lots of them because the clinic has been there for a couple of years already, and we have patients from South Africa, from America, from Russia, everywhere. I mean, Israel. We have so many international clients, and they all come.
Yeah, Germany seems to be the place to go now. I don't know something's happening in Germany, but people are starting to migrate there for their health.
Yeah, they should come to Berlin.
There we go. There's your plug. There's your call to action, people. Go to Berlin, get treated.
Yeah, you'll probably have my information in the show notes, right?
I will share
me.
all of your links in the show notes, and people can just go there and find you. That was actually my next question. How can people find you? How could they connect with you if they're wanting to work with you?
Yeah, well, they can check on my website, which is juliafalkenstein.de, Germany. And I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. The name is Julia Falkenstein, Aroma HP, which is Heilpraktiker, which is naturopathic doctor. But you will find me, because if you go to the website, all the links are there.
Beautiful. And do you only work with people locally, or do you work with people virtually as well?
I do a lot of online calls. I do online coachings for health issues. I do the smell trainings as well in distance. So I send the packages over, and then we have the weekly or monthly sessions online. I do some webinars as well, a little bit less at the time. I do a lot of on Zoom.
So as we're getting ready to close out, if you wanted to share anything that's heavy on your heart or something inspiring, this is your time.
Oh, thank you, Melissa. I would like maybe to share my hope for the aromatic world being a better and a peaceful place for people to exchange each other. I think it's one of the few communities I found where exchange and free speech and I don't know, something with a warm heart is possible, and I really love that about us aromatherapists and practitioners. And I hope it should, or I wish it would stay like this, because we all know what's going on in the world and how people are being ugly to each other. And we should try to be the white light, the light that shines in front of all of us, and be a better example for many people, with our actions and with our sense. And I really believe we can have an impact on peace, on inner peace in this world, and that's lovely.
Oh, thank you so much, Julia. I'm so glad to get to speak with you and just share what you're doing with in the aromatic world with all of my listeners. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Melissa, for having me. I hope we see each other in person one time.
Yes.
And have a wonderful day. Thanks for having me talking here. It was lovely to see you.
Absolutely. It was so great. Thank you so much. Okay. I want to share something with you. I imagine that most of you will be on board with what I'm going to share, but others may think it's a little bit woo-woo. I hope you'll listen. At the end of our conversation, Julia shared that the aromatherapy community is a place where people can show up and be a light to the world around us. I believe that every single plant on this planet was given to us for our benefit. I believe we were created to walk among and interact with the plants. I believe that when we spend time among the plants, whether that's through Shinrin Yoku, also known as forest bathing, or through herbal preparations, or through our amazing essential oils, we are healthier. When we're healthier, we're happier. When we're happier, we vibrate at a higher frequency, allowing us to show up in our world and bring light and life to those around us. So I want to encourage you today to spend some time with plants. If you can, get outside and spend about 20 minutes interacting with them. If you don't have a cold like I do, breathe deep and enjoy their beauty. If you can't get outside, maybe slowly sip a cup of organic herbal tea. Or even intuitively choose a single essential oil or a blend and do some deep breathing exercises for about 10 minutes. We were created for the garden, and when we spend time there, we're healthier and happier. Have you noticed a rise in gut-related issues recently? Julia shared that she sees many patients with gut issues in her naturopathic and aromatherapy practice. Many of my coaching clients struggle with gut issues as well. In fact, my ideal client is the person who has completely disconnected from their gut. They don't even know what hunger and fullness feel like anymore. If this is you or someone you know, I would love to invite you to schedule a complimentary discovery call to find out if life coaching is your next best step. It's easy to schedule. Just visit lemonbalmcoaching.com and click on the link. I hope you enjoyed this Aromatic Chat episode with Julia Falkenstein. Germany seems to be where people are heading for their wellness. And if Julia's heart spoke to yours, I encourage you to reach out and schedule a session with her. Be sure to check the show notes for all of the links mentioned in today's episode. Did you know that over at buymeacoffee.com/AromaticChat, you can have access to some of the content from my Aromatic Chats that do not make it into the final show? There are also meditations and early access to all episodes for Aromatic Chat members. Simply head over to buymeacoffee.com/AromaticChat. That's buymeacoffee.com/AromaticChat. Aromatic Chat is produced by Lemon Balm Coaching, and you can connect with me, your master transformational life coach and registered aromatherapist, on the web at lemonbalmcoaching.com. Would you be open to leaving the show a review? Reviews make it possible for new listeners to find the show and connect with the aromatherapist that meets their needs. You can leave reviews on Apple Podcast, Podchaser, or at buymeacoffee.com/AromaticChat. I will see you next time with our next episode, and hopefully I won't have a cold then. Until then, peace, love, and aromatics.